following podcast is brought to you by patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. Like what you hear? Want more of it ad-free, uncensored, and earlier? Sign up today at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and start getting more for as little as $2 a month. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for your main event, where news and opinions on the sport of kings collide. WrestleMedia is proud to present The Wrasslun Show. Welcome to The Wrasslun Show, part of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling, and wrestling is everything. I'm at Adam Kota, that's at Matthew Sukram. Before we jump into the episode today, I want to let you know about a couple of upcoming appearances of WrestleMedia. On Saturday, May 11th, Rock Solid Wrestling's Danger Zone event is going to be at the Collingwood Curling Club in Collingwood, Ontario, featuring a main event submission match for the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. Jake O'Reilly with Asher Benjamin in his corner, facing the Canadian Heavyweight Champion Impact Wrestling star Cody Deaner with former WWE Intercontinental Champion and UFC Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock in his corner. Tickets are on sale now at rocksolidwrestling.ticket.ca. Coming up Sunday, May 19th, we will be at the Cottage Country Comic-Con at the Mariposa Conference Center in Orillia, Ontario, featuring WWE Hall of Famers The Honky Tonk Man and Greg the Hammer Valentine, Rhythm and Blues. Visit cottagecountrycomiccon.com for more details. Pretty easy. Just say that 3 times fast. No worries whatsoever. And, of course, Saturday, June 15th, Chinlock Wrestling and House of Hardcore's Legends Convention and Chinlock 5 event takes place from the Leon Center in Kingston, Ontario. Listen to this cavalcade of talent. Bret the Hitman Hart, the Brainbusters, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, Mark Henry, Billy Gunn, Mark Henry, Jimmy Hart, Mark Henry, Tugboat, Swoggle, Jimmy Corderas, Tommy Dreamer, and who knows who else is going to be there. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Stay up to date with where we are going to be. Make sure you're visiting WrestleMedia.ca, or you can sign up for our newsletter. Yeah, do that. You'll be notified about where we're going to be. Plus, you're going to get a chance to enter a really cool contest. You can subscribe for free, and you'll have an opportunity to win 2 tickets to said Chinlock Wrestling House of Hardcore show in Kingston, Ontario, June 15th. These are floor seats. I picked them out myself. They're pretty dang good. Also want to remind you, if you haven't seen our YouTube channel yet, we got some new videos out there we want you to go and check out. First off, National Canadian Film Day was just a few weeks ago, and we were there in attendance as they screened both Wrestler, a documentary from the 1960s, as well as Hitman Hart, Wrestling with Shadows, one of the best wrestling documentaries of all time, both Canadian films. We were very proud to be there. Dan Pagozzo from Northland Wrestling was there as well. He was hosting the night's event, so we got some words from him. Don't forget to check out Northland Wrestling May 25th here in North Bay, Ontario. Feel the Bang. It's going to be an incredible show. Of course, you've got a new Ropes to Reels Reactions, where Drew and myself take a look at the new Hobbs and Shaw trailer. Spoilers, we like it. We think it's pretty good. All right, that's enough shilling for now. Matt, how are you, my man?
In a word, heartbroken.
Heartbroken?
For a second straight week.
Why?
Because Kevin Owens, why you gotta do that?
You mean, why you gotta make me right? Oh, hey, ho!
I set you up for that one, and you knocked it out of
the
park. I've never been more upset that you were right.
You ever see the movie As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson?
Oh, here we go.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay, so you know that line where Jack Nicholson is talking with the woman in the publisher's office, and she says, "I love your books. How do you write women so well?" And then he has the very jerkish line of, "I think of a man, and then I take away logic and reason." It's a pretty bad Jack Nicholson impression, but it's a good line.
Wait, how does that? Wait, so you think of McMahon and you take away all logic and reason?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say I think of a good wrestling angle, and then I take away all logic and reason.
I see where you're going with that now. No, it makes sense. I just, I liked it.
It's unfortunate they didn't have the patience to stick with it and make it really mean something.
That's probably my biggest issue with it, because
You should have been on the group chat with Aaron. Oh my God. Friend of the show, Aaron Rakowski, he just went off on the whole angle. He was not happy about the whole thing. And to be fair, he's right. He's 100% right. I get that they probably have plans in place and they're like, we need a top heel for Kofi to go with and we need it now. But I still...
Shinsuke's sitting right there. Give him a guy who needs a little bit of elevation. Let KO, help Kofi keep the title on him until, we get a real heel turn.
I don't think
Is that what Aaron's going with?
Well, no.
Or he just doesn't like the whole thing altogether?
No. He had no problem with Kevin Owens being part of it, but he said, take your time with it.
Yes.
Have them gain Kevin's trust.
Yeah.
Maybe have Big E come back and be like, I don't trust Kevin Owens. And then they're like, oh, come on,
Hit
Big
him
E.
with a car!
He's... I can't say the line because that's not family friendly, but hit that guy with a car. But he's not bald. He doesn't have a goatee. So,
but it's just something that Big E would do if he doesn't trust someone.
He does use.
That's what I've heard.
He does use the stunner
people.
though.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was another one of his gripes. He's like, they gave him the stunner for crying out loud.
That's I think the biggest problem with it is that you were starting to plant the seeds of him being a babyface, and you're giving people lots of reasons to like him, and now you turn it around. Like, I don't like the booking at all, because it's also, I think, it's going to split the audience after you've had this great feel-good moment with Kofi, because people are still going to cheer Kevin Owens.
It's just this idea of, it's just the wasted potential is what bothers me, that you could have had this play out over weeks, over months. You could have done so much with this. And I'm really worried that the alternative is going to be, well, we need someone for Money in the Bank, and that's it. There's not going to be a plan after this. It feels like Kevin Owens is like a third string choice here for this position. And as a matter of fact, it's being reported that that might actually be the case, as WWE originally wanted to go with Randy Orton or Rowan as potential first opponents for Kofi.
Rowan makes way more sense as just let's let Kofi get a couple of wins with the title on him.
He's also connected to Daniel Bryan.
That's what I mean. That's why it would make way more sense.
I mean, Daniel Bryan probably would have made the most sense, but we don't know if he's even going to wrestle ever again, for goodness sake. So, I mean, he's hurt. Well, I mean, nobody's been able to get a report about, like, how bad is he hurt? We don't know. So,
yeah, no one on a podcast ever said, boy, I don't think Daniel Bryan going back into the ring is a good idea.
You're right. So let's move on. I mean, look, you are going to take those risks, and to be fair, he was cleared. But I mean, anybody can get hit in the head the wrong way, and then that's it.
Yes,
Game
exactly.
over for them.
Especially the way he wrestles.
The thing is, well, now hold on. I'm going to come to Daniel Bryan's defense here and say this: that since coming back, he has been a lot safer.
Yes, he's been safer, but
way safer.
There's a lot of moves in his repertoire that, no matter how safe you do them, they're still high risk moves.
And also, to be fair, to defend him again, to double down on Daniel Bryan, I'm here. The reports I've been reading is that he got hit in the head with a kick from Kofi. Not that that Kofi was being dangerous or sloppy.
Damn it, Kofi!
It was just an accident. These things happen, but it wasn't anything that Bryan did per se.
Conspiracy alert.
Okay, let's hear it.
You know how everyone says that Brock Lesnar knocked out Undertaker at WrestleMania 30 so he could beat the streak?
This is your thing on the Kofi.
Kofi knocked out Daniel Bryan.
This is why the New Day brought the shirts down. They were in on it. They knew. They were like, that's why they were like putting the shirts out on WWE.
That's why when they're setting it up, Daniel Bryan looks surprised. He's going, I don't remember that part.
About? Yeah. Hey, we didn't
That wasn't
this.
part of the predeterminedness.
Conspiracy revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go for top news? Not here. But you do go for great conspiracy theories and stupid fan choices. There you have it.
Anyway.
Randy Orton would have been a fantastic opponent, but I don't think he's the first opponent.
No, I think Eric Rowan would have been a good first opponent.
I think Randy Orton Kofi Kingston's a SummerSlam match.
Yep. Agreed.
Because Randy Orton's a top guy. You can lean back on their history.
Absolutely.
And it makes sense. Orton's like, you're a flash in the pan. You're not going to last. And then Kofi can come back with, and how long were you World Heavyweight Champion the first time? A month?
But how many times have I been
See,
World
we're
Heavyweight
writing
Champion?
the promos right now, for goodness sake.
And they've been part of the main roster for probably the same amount of time. Maybe Kofi has been there even a little bit longer. Maybe.
Yeah. That being said, I feel bad because I feel like WWE is in a tough spot right now on SmackDown. It's a spot they kind of put themselves into, but I mean, who are their strong heels?
Well, you could probably just put Kofi against Shane McMahon because he gets all the good spots.
Well,
okay, so I was thinking about this the other day and almost started crying about it. Since Shane McMahon has come back, look at some of the spots he has gotten, and could you not have given those to someone else? Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania against The Undertaker.
Yeah.
AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Kevin Owens, lengthy
Kevin
feud.
Owens.
Yeah, man, I agree with you 100% on that. You know my feelings on Shane McMahon as a wrestler.
He took the pinfall from Triple H in Survivor Series 5-on-5 match.
I like that he was working with Elias this week. I would like Shane as Elias's manager, but I don't want to see him wrestle.
See, and that's the weird thing, because on Raw, he's out there putting The Miz in these holds.
What kind
and
of an
wearing
unfair,
him down,
and awkwardly, I might add, like not smoothly. It just looks bad. What kind of a world do we live in which Daniel Bryan gets put on the shelf doing a wrestling match, and Shane McMahon does all these gimmick matches, and never once is just like, I can't wrestle anymore.
Well, because he's not a wrestler.
I mean, and again, I don't want to see the guy hurt, but for God's sake, I want him off my TV, and I'm getting to that point, is what I'm saying. At least, again, as a wrestler. Doing promos and stuff, like I said, I like the stuff with him and Elias as a team. I think that's great.
I like the idea of having him team up with Lashley and Leo Rush, like they kind of teased on Raw. I
cool with
can't
that
remember
too.
what the full segment was, but yeah, as a sidekick,
Sure, yeah,
absolutely.
he's great.
Anyway, yeah, for top heels to go up against Kofi
Again, on the SmackDown
even
brand.
Shinsuke, because maybe that's kind of an out of nowhere choice, but puts him right back up there.
I don't know. I think that he's not. I mean, it's a tough balance because you don't want a lame duck as the first opponent, which has kind of been the way WWE has. They've always gone somewhere in the middle. They never make it a top guy, or they do a rematch, but they can't be too low on the card now either. And I think Shinsuke and Rusev, those guys, they're a little bit lower on that card now. Like, I mean, they have no juice heading into that match, and it doesn't do anything for Kofi. Because then if people don't care about it, then they're like, going to look at it and go, well, this was a failed experiment.
Here's how I would have booked it then. Quote unquote triple threat, and if anyone from the New Day interferes, Kofi loses the title.
Triple threat, you mean being Shinsuke and Rusev? That'd be all right. God, why?
I mean, that's the same kind of, they rehash. I mean, that's just a rehash thing with Austin, Undertaker, and Kane. But you want to make Shane McMahon a heel general manager. He does. That's the kind of stuff you need to do. Put the champion in these insurmountable odds. How is he going to beat, the strong style and the brawling style of Shinsuke, and then the big man of Rusev?
This goes back to like why I didn't like the Joe trade. Joe should have stayed on SmackDown and been and elevated. He should have been that top monster heel over on that side. For God's sake, if you want to elevate a guy right out the gate, put him in there against Lars Sullivan. I know we're going to take some heat here, but we don't care because we don't hinder the Jinder. Pull the same thing they did with Jinder Mahal 2 years ago. Do a 6-pack challenge with some of the new guys, put a world title shot on the line, have Lars mow down everybody, and then have him against Kofi Kingston.
And you know what I would have done? I would have had Xavier Woods in that 6-pack challenge, and it's like, yeah, man, if my first title, Kofi's saying, if my first title defense is against you, Woods, let's do it, man. Like, let's go toe to toe. And then Sullivan destroys Xavier Woods.
See, I wouldn't put Woods in there. I'd put Owens in there.
Or, okay,
and
if we're doing the whole thing. Yeah.
Because remember, we're trying to change this around so that we can extend this story of Owens.
Right.
Or, here's another idea. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but maybe just kind of, God, it's so against everything for me to say, maybe focus less on the WWE Championship and more about these guys as a team and building the. Of course, I've always been a big believer that they should apply the Freebird rule to the WWE Championship. I want to see that.
The way some of these teams and stories are shaping up, why not?
And the other thing is, like, again, it's honestly, this comes back to the trades. Because, like, I mean, if you're going to push a younger guy up and elevate it, I mean, you did bring Andrade back over, so Andrade could be an interesting choice. But, like, why did you move Cesaro? Why couldn't you have put Cesaro in that spot? Because if Sheamus is hurt, fine. If you want to build Cesaro up as a credible threat, again, do some sort of number one contender match and make Cesaro because that's what SmackDown needs right now. They need big bad heels. So I understand why they did what they did with Kevin Owens. I just wish they could have come up with a better way. Hey, this is a commercial for patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca, where you can get early access to episodes of your favorite WrestleMedia shows, get full uncut and uncensored versions of your favorite shows, and more. Don't want to hear this commercial on your podcast anymore? Sign up at our main event tier and get these episodes ad-free. Want to hear your own commercial here instead of ours? We've got tiers for that too. Visit patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and join the WrestleMedia revolution today.
Going back to the Freebird rule and keeping Owens as part of the team, you have, again, a heel SmackDown general manager in Shane McMahon saying, you know, Kofi, you didn't really get to this point by yourself. You know, you had a lot of help. So from here on out, WWE title is going to be defended in a Freebird rule, and it's going to be defended tonight. And it's going to be, who cares, whoever. I'm just saying on SmackDown here, right? Let's throw Shinsuke Nakamura against Kevin Owens. And it's like, well, wait a second. My title is being defended for this guy who all out of nowhere wants to be my friend all of a sudden.
It's an interesting concept. It's
right?
An interesting
and
story.
It's just one thing to get through that night to be like, and then Kevin Owens fights his ass off to defend the title that's not actually his, just to be like, I got you, bro.
Right.
Just little things like that. Yeah.
But the real motivation, of course, is like, well, I get to be the champion. So
yeah. Or I get to buddy up next to the champion, and then when he least suspects
turn on him.
Boom.
Yeah. I wish they would have
fork in the eye.
You know, I did see a guy get stabbed with a fork this weekend, so I mean, it's not unheard of completely. All right, let's.
We didn't even spin the wheel. We just got there.
Well, no, we're good. Yeah, we just jumped right into it. So with that in mind, let's jump over to the Red Brand real quick. I want to talk about some stuff I liked and the thing I didn't like one thing I liked on Raw, one thing I didn't like on SmackDown. One thing I liked, Bray Wyatt got another Family Funhouse vignette. Again, building that creepy character. I love that he painted the old compound burning. Nice little callback. One of my questions from my new blog was answered, because the first question I had was, who's the rabbit? Because in the first vignette, on the logo, there's Abby the witch, and there's the buzzard, and there's this rabbit on the right side. And I'm like, we've never seen this rabbit before. He's never been referenced. Bray Wyatt doesn't have a rabbit. Even the masks. Like, it wasn't a sheep. It was a rabbit. So what is this rabbit? So we know who it is now. A rambling rabbit. And he's weird. But everything in these.
But everything. He's
weird.
Actually normal compared to most of the stuff.
I was surprised we didn't get the gloves. I thought he would be wearing the gloves again. Because I thought they were going to continue with that. They didn't. So I'm intrigued again, because I want to know, okay, so we know that they're going to be a little different every time. What are they going to do next week? Right? So that was my take on it. Did this second vignette bring you around a little bit more on this character?
Again, I'm sad that it's being done at the expense of a guy who was one of my favorite characters of the last.
Yeah, but you say at the expense, like as if this is bad for him or something.
No, in terms of like they're not doing
the character that you like.
You know, backwoods Louisiana creepy guy. Sure. Don't go to his house on Halloween.
I don't know. I still don't know that I'd go.
Well, you wouldn't go to this guy's house either. Yeah.
Although he comes to you because he says, as he said in both promos, just let me in.
Yes. So
Bray Wyatt's a vampire. He can't come in your house unless you invite him in. I mean, it would make him about as much sense as anything else in these vignettes, right?
He's a vampire, bro.
Vampires are super cool. Just ask Kevin Thorne.
I just heard.
Gangrel.
I just heard about this book, Twilight. I'm telling you, the chicks are gonna love it.
He's gonna sparkle, bro.
The thing that intrigues me the most is who is going to be the victim out of all this?
Well,
like,
obviously,
who's the
WWE
target?
baby faces.
Yes, but who's going to be like the whole thing with Orton? I don't think Orton is going to be the first guy he goes after. I think it's just you're going to see him break down. So is it going to be? Well, it can't be Roman because he's on the other side. Could it be Seth Rollins?
I don't think this is going to be one of these things where it's like, and it's all because of this guy. I don't think it's going to be like a supervillain with an arch nemesis thing.
I think it'll be The Undertaker.
I hope not, man. I like The Undertaker. I really do.
I honestly can see that that's where they're going with this.
I know they just paid him a lot of money to stick around, so they may want to utilize him. I just want to see this be something new for Bray. I just want this to be a new way of looking at his character, something to freshen him up a little bit. I don't think he necessarily needs a motivation for every guy he goes after, just this establishing of this character. Like, let me give you an example. So recently on a podcast, the Wrestling Reality podcast, Justin LaBar had a chance to speak with Jason Baker. Now, you probably don't know that name, but he's the guy that directed these videos. So, first of all, this is a guy that knows where this is all going because he's directed all these videos. And he had this to say on the podcast. All the monsters you see in real life, they look normal. If you look at a picture of Ted Bundy and didn't know that that was Ted Bundy, you'd probably think that looks like a nice guy. Fun fact, that is exactly what happened to me, because when I saw the trailer for that Zac Efron movie that's coming out real soon, I was just like, who's that guy? And Kayla was like, he's supposed to be Ted Bundy. I'm like, oh, I had no idea. The only Bundy I was famous with was King Kong. And then to a slightly less extent, Al. I mean, John Wayne Gacy was a pillar of his community. True monsters hide right out in the open. They look just like you and me. To me, that's way more terrifying than any monster you can see on film. And I think that's kind of the thing that they're going for, this idea that we want people to know he's a bad guy. So we're going to show the glimmers of this sociopath, this psycho that he is. But the idea behind it is that he's hiding behind a mask, right? As we said, perfect way for him to maybe transition to something with Rey Mysterio, but it's for another time. Now, he also said something that I thought was really interesting. He said, Bray is someone who puts such a thought process into his craft. I've had the opportunity to work on movies with Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise and Will Smith and a bunch of others working here in Pittsburgh film industry. His mindset for his character development is on par with those guys. It's a sight to see and something to behold. I was thoroughly impressed with how much dedication he brings to his art and craft. There you go. The director says that Bray Wyatt on the same level as Big Willie, Tom Cruise, and Russell Crowe. That's pretty high praise, I would think.
No kidding. That's awesome to hear that he is that dedicated to whatever WWE throws at him.
What kind of movie you'd like to see Bray Wyatt star in? I know this is more of a ropes to reels conversation.
Captain and Commander.
I have no idea what that is. Is it a video game or something?
Isn't that the one where Russell Crowe is on a boat?
Oh, right. I mean, I didn't
like that
I wasn't
movie.
trying to get you to like replace these guys with Bray Wyatt, but I mean, I'll buy a ticket to that is what I'm saying. So good job. Something I won't buy a ticket to see is men shaving their backs. Let's talk about the revival.
Oh man. What is this?
Well, Dave Meltzer has a theory.
Kind of funny, but just like one of those. Sorry, I guess I should come back up to the mic.
No, you were yelling. It's fine. They'll
just
hear
one
you.
of those like, really? That's the best you had?
I don't think it was their best, but Dave Meltzer thinks he does know the reason why the revival were shaving their backs.
I'm sure you do, Dave.
Well, the report coming from Dave Meltzer off F4W Online says the deal that WWE reportedly gave Dash and Dawson, which was worth about $500,000 a year over 5 years.
Each?
Doesn't say, but I assume it's each, I assume.
Damn.
The deals were not accepted. So
Damn.
Revival were like, nope, we're not interested in your money. It's not what we want.
And then they went home and said, "Oh crap, we did want their money."
So
that's the reason we're here. The money.
So Meltzer's speculating that maybe that's the reason we got the Revival being caught shaving their backs by the Usos.
And even for the Usos, it's just like, oh man, we're in a locker room with a camera. We're not creepy at all.
Just
like,
a bunch of pranksters. At least
I
they
don't know,
weren't
like,
in Enzo Amore territory where they were like creeping on girls getting out of while he was getting out of the shower. Creepy.
Right. But like at the same time, it's a good little gag. Like, I gotcha, but I don't know, to feature it for these teams, like if it was something that Tyler Breeze and Fandango got caught doing, like, yeah, that's like up their alley.
Or the
that's
Ascension.
I guess.
Or the B Team.
Yeah.
Or Heavy Machinery.
Yeah.
Or Rhino and Heath Slater. Should I keep going with all the tag teams that WWE has basically just left to dry up in the wind and die? I mean, they still got some good tag teams out there, but they're all on Raw. You got the Hardys, but for goodness sake, by the time this podcast hits your ears, Jeff Hardy could be announcing that he's done. So, I mean, that might be done. That might be finished.
Maybe they're trying to go down to one tag title and just have tag teams on Raw, because Raw was very heavy tag team action-wise. That
was my conspiracy theory.
Sorry.
No. I'm not saying you're stealing it from me. I'm just saying great minds, because that's what I thought too. My thought was, I'm wondering if they're stacking it all on one side, and they're maybe going to do a thing where they move the women's division to SmackDown, and they do tag teams on Monday Night Raw. I don't know, but it's a theory. Well, while we're on the topic of young up-and-comers, I want to talk about PCW, Professional Championship Wrestling, and their Rising Tide event. If you happen to be in the Brockville area May 25th, make sure you get your tickets. Look up PCW, Professional Championship Wrestling, on Facebook for more details. I had a chance, while I was down at the Chinlock Wrestling Show in Napanee over the weekend, to speak with more than a few of the principal players, including Freak Nation, Madman Taylor and Sideshow Jack, Big Shug, Sean McMillan, one of my former trainers, and an incredible cruiserweight wrestler, and head referee for the promotion, referee R.J. Lawrence. All of these guys have a hand in not only working as wrestlers for the show, but also they're working as promoters for the events as well. Enjoy. Now, you guys have been on both sides of the guardrail in terms of performer and promoter, and now you guys are getting back in the game after a little bit of a hiatus. Tell us a little bit about the return, much like a phoenix,
Absolutely. Rising out of the ashes.
Professional Championship Wrestling.
May 25th. May 25th, we're coming back to Brockville, Ontario with Professional Championship Wrestling, PCW. It's just been a long hiatus for a little bit there because we started developing the Freak Nation. Things have changed. It's one of those things where the road takes you, the different paths you go down. Sometimes you got to put things off. Sometimes things change.
And now we're coming back full circle.
Coming back into the promoting aspect of it, getting PCW out there, and bringing wrestling back to Brockville, Ontario.
What was it that inspired you guys to get back on the horse? Because you guys had to take a little break. Is it just we had more time to dedicate to it now? Was there an inciting incident, something that was like, we got to do this again?
I think this the timing.
Yeah,
the timing. Really. It's everything that's happening right now in the indie scenes, all the way up down to Toronto way, all the way back down through to Ottawa and Gatineau and everywhere, Kingston, Cornwall. Indies are booming. In my opinion right now, they're booming right now. They're relevant. Fans are catching on the more to the indies, that you don't have to go to the $1 million productions to get good quality entertainment and professional wrestling nowadays. The indies is where... Well, the indies are where half of them talent, big names, are born nowadays. You know what I mean? And look at that. Look at the talent they're harvesting off the indie scene right now. It's incredible.
And again, too, like throughout the years of like meeting all these new friends and the bond, right? The brotherhood behind it all. And now everyone's coming to work together and pull this off. Like, that means a lot.
Absolutely. And that's the number one key thing, too. Just everybody working together. You know, there comes that time where, you know, territory can be what it is, but I think we're in a time where we're going into where it's like it doesn't hurt to help another promotion out from another promotion and work together a bit.
Working together.
And we're working with Chinlock. We've been very tight with Chinlock and everything. Jan Murphy and Justin Kuzno and everything. They've been very good to us. We've been good to them, and we are more than happy to have them associated with our PCW brand.
Is there a certain tag team out there right now that you guys would love to lock up with that you haven't had a chance to yet?
I like the looks of those Beards fellas, the Dragons that we're going to be getting in there with tonight.
Yeah, like this guy's
Double
on the
Dragon.
Indies right now. We're getting in Double Dragons. We actually worked them at SVW, Seaway Valley Wrestling last weekend. We was in a Fatal 4-Way Elimination tag. So tonight it's kind of a 2-on-2. We're going to get a good little feel with them and the boys, and we're going to see what they got.
That's just a small taste of the full interview, which is available right now on our Patreon. Matt, anything else you want to say or talk about before we wrap things up here on the Wrasslun Show this week?
I like that Becky Lynch is defending one title on one show and still involved in some heavy storylines on the other show. They can make it work. They can make this one title shared concept work.
And if you want to hear my thoughts on that, go back in our archives and listen to Women Crush Wrestling every Saturday, or listen to all the podcasts we have here at WrestleMedia over at WrestleMedia.ca. That's our home. That's where you can connect with us on all of our platforms via the social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Everything you can find there with WrestleMedia.ca. If you want to make a donation, support us monthly, head to our Patreon at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. You can link to our YouTube channel. Again, we told you earlier about some of the great new videos we have there. Or you can sign up for our free newsletter, where you'll get all the latest news about what's happening with WrestleMedia and opportunities to enter cool contests like the one we have right now for floor seats to go see the Chinlock Wrestling House of Hardcore show June 15th at the Leon Center in Kingston, Ontario, featuring some of the biggest names in the history of the business. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you liked it, give us a rating. A 5-star review is the one we would prefer, but we'll take anything, honestly. We're just very greedy and desperate. Just please give us anything. No. Honestly, your support is wonderful. Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure going out this past weekend and meeting some of you who listen to the podcast. We can't wait to continue to do it when we're live and on the road. Thank you for your continued support, and thank you for listening to The Wrasslun Show. Until next time, I'm at Adam Conta, that's at Matthew Sukram, and you know what to do. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat.
This has been a presentation of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling, and wrestling is everything.
Here's what you're missing out on right now over at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. I think focus groups are a good idea to start, right? I mean, look, you're looking for feedback, right? That's where you go. You go to your fan base, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I also think that maybe it's come to a point where the WWE offers the viewers so much that they are being more picky.
Interesting. What do you mean by that?
Just in terms of like, I don't have to watch that now. I can watch it later. I'm not going to watch 205 Live. I'll go watch something else. I don't want to watch SmackDown. I'll go watch NXT.
Like, there's so much content now that they've just kind of split the audience into so many fragmented pieces that the focus isn't on one thing at a time. Want more? Sign up now at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.